So it's the second Monday of 2024. And I want to know, have you failed your New Year's resolution yet? Now, I know the title might seem like clickbait, but I do want you to fail, but not for the reasons you might think I do. I'm not a hater. I don't want you not to succeed on your journey, whether that's losing weight, getting a new job, just changing your life. But the reason I say this is because a little failure might be good for you, because adversity shows what you truly want. And too many times when people make New Year's resolutions, it's not for a real change. And that's really what a resolution really is about, right? A behavior change. Anything we want to do comes down to how bad do we want to actually make an effort to become that or do what we set out to achieve. Now, my thing is, if you truly wanted, I would argue, don't kill the messenger, that you would have began this process about February of 2021. Oh, you see what I did there? Not 2023. 2-3 years down the road, you should have been on this process. Now, this doesn't mean you can't start with little changes or make sudden changes, because that's how life goes. Sometimes you want to go a different route. But this speaks to what you're really trying to do, because I would argue a lot of times nowadays, people get caught up in the trends or just the hype of, I want something different. And that's where they end up doing it for a month, 2 months, maybe even half a year. But then they fall off again. And where failing comes in, it really tests how bad you want it, because it's going to be a cumulative journey. I always use that term cumulative. That's the addition of all the efforts and consistency put together. Now, if we look at most goals people set, they want a linear journey where they're going straight up to the top. And nothing in life, especially goals, are going to happen that way. There's going to be days off. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be plan changes. There's going to be times you need to pivot. There's sometimes you got to take off completely. There's sometimes you have to go even more than you thought you should. And these are things you got to think about. So those failures along the way, it's only been 7 days, granted. But what have you seen? Have you seen any adversity yet? Have you had at least a day you're like, no, what? I don't feel like doing this? Or you saw something that came out of nowhere that set your plans to the side? If you have, that's okay. It's probably a good thing, because either it's going to, one, test what you should actually do in this situation and see how you can regroup, recalibrate, and attend to the goal, or you give up. Now, I don't want you to quit, but if you do quit, this could also be good and helpful, because now you know, I didn't really want that, or I didn't want it enough. Keyword, enough. I'm not saying you're not doing what you're supposed to. I'm not saying not to keep trying, but I'm a big believer on, if you truly want something, nothing's gonna stop you from it. And you're gonna do it even when it doesn't feel good. We live in this instant gratification, TikTok generation where everything has to happen in an instant and it has to be catered to us. Unfortunately, that's not how life really works in the real world. Now, on social media, it makes sense because it feeds us more and more what we want to see, and it boosts up to think that we're doing what we're supposed to do, but we're really not. In the real world, it's the complete opposite. Very little lines up with what we want to achieve. That's just the facts. Now, the point is, you need to take that ability to see where it doesn't line up, then put it towards your efforts. Because I could beat down your chest all day, be consistent, be motivated, be disciplined, but what does that truly mean? I'm big on learning from the hardship, because I got to where I am in my career and just life in general because of the adversity I faced. So if you haven't set out on your journey, or it hasn't gone the way you thought so far in 2024, that's okay. But really think about what it takes to do what you do. Analyze the goal. See what are the small every day-to-day steps. Have you been doing them? Look back 6 months ago. Did you do anything on the remnants of what you're trying to do now? It doesn't have to be perfectly in line, but we're even somewhere in that realm of what your goal is now. If no, you might have to try a little bit harder to achieve what you're doing. Now, if you can look back and say, hey, I was kind of in position of setting myself up for success to some degree, you're on the right path. Now, if you haven't had anything and it's already a weekend and you're like, I haven't done nothing I said I was going to do, that's not bad either. Once again, regroup, look at what you're trying to do. If this is still what you want to do, if it lines up, figure it out, build up, regroup. But if not, you need to get to the drawing board and figure something else out. That's just sometimes how it has to go. So I'm not one to shoot out dreams, but on this channel, you know, we get your mind right. We always want you to do it in the best way possible. So wherever you're at, keep at it and have a great rest of your week.